Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max.
Welcome, everyone. We are the Geek Patrol, and our microphones don't have a stun setting. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmsted and Alan Gilbreth and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And today, among other things, is, we had the Stranger Things finale, and it's one of the biggest conversations in pop culture right now, so we would be remiss if we did dive into that, right, Brandon?
It's true.
But speaking of pop culture, before we get into that, I don't know. I guess I'm really out of touch in the world. I heard there was this big solemn announcement that said MTV officially closed down. Their channel went dark on December 31st.
Yep.
I thought it went dark like 20 years ago, Frank. Did I miss something here?
No,
I didn't even know they were still around.
You didn't miss anything. Its relevance disappeared about 20, 25 years ago.
Okay.
So, yeah.
It's odd because I remember when it came out. Now, Brandon, you were a little young. I guess I don't know how much you watched.
Dude,
you didn't see the premiere.
Dude, I grew up with MTV.
Okay. Well, I knew you grew up with it, but what was it, August of 1980?
Yeah.
I was.
What a landmark.
Yeah, I watched the Buggles.
Yeah.
I was there. I saw a video, Kill the Radio Star. It was
MTV.
It was an event.
And yet radio's still here, baby.
Yeah, well, it was but it was an event. I mean, this is one of those things where like you gathered at people's houses because
MTV
this thing
huge.
was going to happen.
Yeah.
And when it came on the air and then it started and they had VJs and music videos, so you didn't have to wait for Don Kirshner's rock concert on Sunday night.
Right.
It happened.
Honestly, Alan, was anybody waiting for Don Kershaw's concert?
They were. It was a big thing back
like
then.
7 people?
Well, maybe 8.
Around your
Probably
age?
12, yeah. That are still alive. Yeah.
Right. No, I'm talking about your age now. Then.
If you think about 70s music versus 80s music, now, I love my 80s music and everything, but it also produced some pretty lame music, too, in terms of, like, you might have had some really, I don't know, somebody that looked good on camera, but maybe they weren't the best musicians type thing. I'm thinking of Aha or something. Maybe they had that video with the
right,
drawings
cartoon,
and stuff like that.
The comic book cartoon, right.
As a matter of fact,
Take On Me, one of the quintessential songs of the 80s.
I never liked that song.
You are the only one.
Joe, I've heard your musical taste, and Aha would not be for you.
No.
I mean, plain and simple. None of their songs.
I'm still
would have been
trying
for
to
you.
figure out how nobody ate you at your job that shaped your musical taste.
I don't know, man.
Because you'd have been snack food.
Well,
that's all I got to say.
Well, no, most of those people aren't vanilla fans.
No, but here's the thing. Okay, whatever that means. No, here's the thing, you guys. I think this makes the perfect point. Aha. The thing about that band was, okay, for one thing, it's not like they produced a bunch. They weren't racking up the hits. They were just this.
Not in this country.
Right.
They weren't
their
American,
country, they were doing just fine.
But what I was going to say is that song, which became their staple, the Take On Me and everything, when it was released, it nobody paid attention to it. It wasn't until that music video. So the music video is what made that song famous, not the musical quality of
there
it.
There are a lot of acts that were made famous by the shock quality or the gender bend or the costume or lack thereof. Some of them actually were talented and survived. A lot of them became footnotes in MTV history.
I'm not trying to sound stupid, but did MTV, the fact that there were music videos being aired, speaking of gender bending, did it make people kind of be surprised? Like, oh, wait, the singer of Yazoo that sounds like a man is actually a woman.
Oh, yeah. Because I used to think Yaz, I thought that was a guy singing, and it wasn't. It was, I forgot her name. But
there were a lot of acts, even after you saw them, you were still confused.
Yeah.
Like the Bee Gees.
But the thing is, it definitely changed the way, because that Aha is just one example. We know that there's other.
I want to go ahead and apologize to the rest of the 98.1 The Max audience for my cohort's lack of culture.
Okay. All right. But anyway, it definitely changed. But I do remember how exciting it was when MTV came out. And you could just watch MTV. But it's funny because today, just for kicks, once in a while, I'll pull up a YouTube video where it'll say the first hour of MTV, and it shows the commercials, it shows everything, or it'll say a random hour from 1984. And when I watch that today, I'm amazed I could even tolerate 20 minutes of it. Because you got to sit through like 80% of the songs that you don't care about to get to the one you actually do care about. And then when you watch it, it's like over in 3 minutes. And then you got to.
You mean like listening to the top 40 on the radio?
Kind of.
It was flashier.
Yeah. But it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like it wouldn't. Of course, today everything's on demand. So
No, like, well, let's give MTV their due. They gave us VJs. They gave us music videos.
They gave us Beavis and Butthead.
They gave us cartoons.
They gave us
that were for grown-ups.
They gave us the real world. They gave us Road Rules. So we should condemn them as much as we, can.
we
no
also
kidding.
had Fear. We had a wide variety of reality shows, including wrestling reality shows.
yeah.
They had, it was kind of like MTV was the ultimate, I don't know, throw it against the wall, see if it sticks.
Yeah. But I can blame them. They are the reason why you have your Real Housewives.
Yes, they gave birth to what we consider reality television.
You guys
They gave birth to what we consider trash reality shows.
Well, yeah, however you want to phrase it.
You guys are making me think of something.
We're not going to stick on it. We can do it. We can do a supplemental thing for that.
Well, but no, what I was thinking of is just the nature of, we talk about this a lot with trends. Following the latest trend, there's no way to age yourself better than to just jump on the latest trend. It seems like that's what MTV did, and I think they paid the price for it. They were constantly being so trendy that their stuff became dated.
Well, the problem was they originated a lot of the trends, but then other people would come in and do it better. It's like, let's say, in your carpentry skill, you've been taught various things, but then you use those for things that are a little outside of the box, like when you were making your really awesome baseball bats with your lathe.
Yeah.
It's not what someone would expect for that. Well, that's what other things would do. They'd see what MTV was doing, and then they'd do it bigger and better. And it was like a train wreck. You couldn't look away.
It's not sustainable, I guess. And then, of course, once YouTube comes along, that pretty much is the death nail.
Once everybody can do it,
changes.
Everybody can do it with their cell phone and a voice track.
So to quote a famous song from the play Chicago, they had it coming.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. Alan Moore just egged my house. The Geek Patrol is back.
Sorry, that one always gets me.
Yeah.
It doesn't show up often, but when it does.
And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson, here with my friends Brandon Olmstead and Alan Gilbreth, and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And if you're just tuning in, we paid tribute, I guess. I don't know if we paid tribute or we just sort of looked at it like an accident on the side of the road of MTV shutting down for good on December 31st.
You're just amazed they made it till then.
I didn't know they were still on the air.
This was kind of like, you're right. It wasn't much of a tribute. This was like, why is traffic slowed down? Oh, there's a bus.
Right.
Oh, it's a bus for the church.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have. Oh, it's on fire. I'm going to keep going. That was MTV.
I guess.
It's like, we all have fond memories of things from MTV, but we also know what it turned into.
Although I'm pretty sure that bus wasn't full of innocent nuns.
Yeah. Boy, you really are taking this to a
it
dark
really wasn't.
place. So, yeah. But anyway, it's just odd because it is funny that I didn't even know.
It's a cultural touchstone that we have lost track of, and now it's gone.
Right. And it came and went. I mean, and really, I would say the prime of MTV was probably about a 15-year run, and after that, it just started to go. And then as soon as YouTube and on demand came, it was.
What killed MTV was TRL.
What's TRL?
Total Request Live.
Oh.
It's like it was more. We are watching a bunch of people. We're going to try and do it as a dance party, and then we're going to put music videos between it. But it was kind of the beginning of their reality-based broadcasting because they were relying on the stupidity of the human that was there. Because it wasn't you weren't talking to the guy who knew music or the lady who was like, I'm a producer, I'm doing this. You're not getting insights. You're getting a drunken frat boy or a sorority girl who is on spring break who tells you who they are, what they're really into, and what video they want to see next from random boy band.
Right.
My question is I'm wondering if they're going to pull a Rolling Stones and keep saying, oh, this is the final tour.
I don't know how they do, Max, because who's going to pay money to to
Dude,
watch.
that was 10 years ago. It finally ran
Yeah.
out of gas.
Yeah.
That bus is gone.
I'm sure that you'll have plenty of retrospectives with VJs from the old days and people who remember when flooding the market this first quarter of this year, but that'll be it.
But
sadly, I doubt it.
No,
I think this is going to pass without a.
They're already starting on YouTube, so by April they'll be gone.
But the legacy actually lives on because we still have music videos. They're just delivered differently.
Well, we had music videos beforehand, but they were you would see them as a interstitial on someone else's variety show.
Oh, yeah, like David Bowie back in the day. Or
I think one of my favorite ones is the Skyhooks horror movie. It's like 1974, 1975, and it was an Australian broadcast, and I've only seen it thanks to things like Night Flight.
Yeah, okay. I just, not to beat this into the ground, but I'm just thinking of
some
of these.
Because I got something else for us to talk about.
Yeah, just real quick, though, I'm just thinking of the technology that might have come about because of this, because it seems to me in the 60s and 70s, I know that they would alter people's voices and things like that, but at the same time, to succeed as a musician, I feel like you had to have some musical talent. But once MTV came along, if somebody looked really good on camera, they'd run their voice through a filter or they'd do whatever it took to keep them on camera.
One of the biggest standout videos from the heyday of MTV is it was a Herbie Hancock video. You only saw him on a black and white screen, but there was no lyrics. It was all electronic.
You're talking about Rocket.
Yes, I am.
That had the most bizarre robot performers ever. And Rocket is still one of the most played music videos on YouTube.
Yeah, but that video showed you that, the right AI robot can clean your house.
Okay. Maybe in the future we will do some sort of extended exploration of MTV, but let's change gears.
Okay.
So, but Brandon, I think are you the only one that's seen the finale
of
Stranger Things?
And in my personal opinion, it was the perfect ending to that show.
Okay.
I know there's a lot of people who are up in arms about plot holes and what's this, but the first thing I'm going to say is, guys, you obviously have never ever consumed 80s television.
The last thing I'm thinking about is plot holes with this show.
Right.
Yeah,
it's like I can get over the fact that Hopper and Joyce don't realize that Vecna went to high school with them for 3 months. There are Demogorgons. This entire thing is a giant D&D campaign, and it is the discourse going on right now has proven most of you have never been in a successful campaign, especially one that's lasted for years.
Well, I guess we're giving spoilers, and I don't care if you spoil.
No. If you haven't,
I'm not even going to.
If you haven't seen it yet, and I know the spoiler rules, you're supposed to wait at least a year before you go public. No, guys, if you haven't seen the discourse whining about a lot of stuff, you already know. It was amazing for me. I think it was a very slow season.
How many episodes?
It's 8 episodes.
Okay.
You got them in 3 chunks. You got the first 4 on Thanksgiving. You got the next 3 on Christmas Day. You got the finale, which was 2 hours on New Year's Eve.
Okay.
I don't care nothing about drinking and carousing anymore. I've grown up. So I watched Stranger Things on New Year's Eve and rung in the new year with going, decades worth of time to watch this show, and it was the perfect ending for me.
Yeah.
Now, I know there's a lot of people who are upset about this, that, and everything else, but I'm going to tell you, it felt, if you were with the show from the beginning, this ending is really the only way it could have gone.
Well.
And I'll get into spoilers at one point, but I really do want to say, if you're sitting there and you're worried about how that ended, if you didn't like the ending, that's fine. You can not like the ending all day long. But if you're trying your damnedest to find the holes in it because you've got to figure out why you don't like it, just take in the fact you didn't like it.
You didn't
like most of the show anyway. You complained about it since season 1.
I guess I should give them credit, too, because we covered this back in 2015, and I loved the show. The first 2 seasons, we were big fans, but they said this was going to be a 5-season arc, and they actually did it. And these days, how often does that even happen?
It doesn't. It doesn't
projects
happen.
Just go away and they disappear. So.
You say you've got a this year plan, and if you make it to that point, that by then the network has gotten greedy and they come at you with enough money, and then you keep it going, and your show suffers for it.
Yeah, you either go too long or you just kill it, and it's like there's never a sequel or it's just over. So
right.
All right. Well, we'll continue to unpack that when we come back here on Geek Tank Radio.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. The Geek Patrol is back.
Your mother was a hamster, and your father smelt of elderberries.
And welcome back to
It's because he drank too much Allen's wine.
Geek Tank Radio, everybody.
Alan would not make elderberry wine.
Okay.
Alan does make elderberry wine.
We're burning daylight. But anyway, I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmstead and Alan Gilbreth and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And the finale of Stranger Things, it's happened. Brandon's watched it all. And I did have just a quick thought about this before we move on. But Stranger Things took 10 years to unpack, basically, to tell a 5-season arc. I'm giving them credit that they said it was going to be 5 seasons, and it actually was 5 seasons.
Right.
The only comparable experience I've ever had was waiting for Attack on Titan to finally end. It took 12 or 13 years max or something like that. But the thing is, Brandon, Attack on Titan stayed true. All the seasons had the same level of quality. The writing was great. It maintained its quality.
Characters actually had arc progression.
Yeah, it took a long time, but it ended in a satisfactory way. But now with Stranger Things, I've fallen victim to something that maybe you're going to talk about.
Yeah.
I lost interest in
talking.
season 3, and it was a lot to do with I was patient and I waited, for new season, but I just thought the whole texture of that season was different, and I didn't like it. It was boring to me. It was flashy whatever.
It was definitely really flashy.
It changed. It changed the feel of the show. The first 2 seasons were great.
Well, they tried to give you this whole what happens when new things come to the small town. Because Hawkins was your quintessential small town, and now they've got a mall.
Yeah.
And there's a carnival because they're as part of the celebration for the mall. And it's peak 80s, 85, and it's like all the colors, all the flash. It's like, hey, pay attention to us over here. But you go back and you watch, TV from then. And especially if you find one of those retro channels on YouTube. I know we're pimping YouTube a lot this weekend. But if you're watching something like that and they include the commercials and you start seeing those local commercials for new things, it hits that feel really good. But if you're going in there and you're enjoying the very Goonies-esque Stand By Me feel that you get in those first 2 seasons, it's like a giant culture shock. And it does. It feels like you have had, it's like you just had the rug pulled out from under you. And I guess the reason why, because I remember season 3 bugged me. There was something that bugged me, and I couldn't tell if it was the fact that there were communist forces hiding in our capitalist mall in order to take over. And, that whole thing was like, going back and watching all 5 seasons or the first 4 seasons I was gearing up for season 5, because this is the end. We got it. It doesn't jolt me as badly, because it does feel like that progression I had as a kid.
It kind of makes me think that I kind of like the idea of not watching I kind of like the idea of banking episodes until the series is over.
Yeah.
For example, I love the show Ruby, but I've been kind of getting tired of waiting for the end of it and everything. And so I would rather go back and watch Ruby start to finish rather than having to wait and have them. So you could have the continued momentum rather than start, stop. Kind of like with a car. A car actually thrives best when it's just continually driving.
Right. But if you stop and go traffic will destroy an engine like nobody's business. I feel the same way about Ruby, because I love Ruby, but at the same time, you're like, oh, God, it's taking longer to get to the next season. Oh, no. Why? Wait, the company went under? Who bought it now? What's going on? And it's like, we don't even know if we're going to get volume 10 at this point. But I feel you right there, Max, because I had the same feeling, especially coming into this season. And it's like, well, these kids were, they were 12 years old in the first season. At the end of the finale, we're at their graduation.
Well, and they look like adults. I mean, let's just be honest.
That adults playing kids has not been anything. There were 30-year-olds on Beverly Hills 90210 playing 16-year-olds.
Well, Grease.
Yeah.
Look at that.
we don't talk about that.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Connor.
People of that age did look like them back then because you had to work.
Right. Yeah.
But no, I get it that you get that fatigue, and it's like, is it even worth waiting for especially when I've got new content coming in? And it's gotten that way with regular network television now, too. It's like you may skip a whole season of a show, because, well, it didn't pop back in when you were, and then it's like, do I go back and watch it? Oh, wait, why, where were we last time? And it does. You lose connection with those characters, and you just get to the point where you're like, I don't care. I got new people to watch now.
Now, I do have a question, though, because, okay, now anybody that picks it up, anybody that sits down now and they're new to Stranger Things, well, they can watch it from beginning to end.
Right.
And so their experience is obviously different than us, that we waited forever. And I was thinking of our conversation we had about listening to a full album from, like, every song on the album, where we almost talked about how the stronger songs carry the weaker. Like, you'll listen to a couple of the weaker songs. So now I'm thinking, maybe the Stranger Things experience will actually be pretty good. Like,
right.
Maybe if season 3's a dip, you can say, okay, well, I'll hang in there.
And here's the thing: you just brought up, music.
Yeah,
and it's like that is one of those things that will keep you geared with Stranger Things. Is at no point does their soundtrack miss a beat.
Okay, so they've got a good musical budget.
Dude. They end this season with Purple Rain and We Can Be Heroes.
Okay, Purple Rain would be good. Yeah. Wait, who sings We Can Be Heroes?
It's the original.
I don't remember who sang that. That's okay. But I heard they overdid it with Kate Bush.
We want to,
like they kept doing that one song too
well,
much.
that was because of they felt the comfort song for that character, and they play the heck out of that song. And then she eventually in this season says she never actually needed the song, she just needed them, the people who were waiting for her. And
they brought her back.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Now you mean the song by David Bowie?
Is that who wrote it? So.
Yeah, We Can Be Heroes for Just One Day.
Yeah.
That's David Bowie.
Don't look down on me. I don't know. I mean, I don't know every name of every. I'm not a human encyclopedia, so it's
Alan takes a lot of pride in Bowie because Bowie played Alan's true persona in Labyrinth.
Yep.
Oh, there you go. So yeah, and truth be told, I'm not as big a fan of David Bowie's '80s music. Sorry, no offense out there, everybody, but that's just not my thing.
As he put it, all of the characters he played were bloody awful.
Okay,
so he agrees with you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there's more to discuss about Stranger Things, and there's probably some lessons to be learned in filmmaking and episodic TV when we come back here on Geek Tank Radio.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. The Geek Patrol is back.
Anyhow, you'll have to wait. The kids are busy right now.
Oh, is the organ harvesting clown here?
Nah, Rusty comes on Tuesdays now.
And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmstead and Alan Gilbreth and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And if you're just tuning in, we should say we did a post-mortem on MTV shutting down for good. I can't say it was much of a tribute.
We poured one out for you.
Okay. And then
it was a necropsy.
It's the Stranger Things finale. I was talking about how I fell victim to the hiatus fatigue, and also I just wasn't a big fan of season 3, and I never came back. Now I might come back and watch it now that it's over, but
I will
especially
say,
if you said they played Purple Rain at the end. But Alan, you said you had a poignant question.
I do.
Okay.
I have because I've noticed two extremes happening here in the last few years. One is we went and made an entire season of a show, and we dumped it on Saturday at 6. Binge away.
Oh, the whole season in one shot.
The whole season showed up in one big chunk, and most of the people I knew Monday morning were bleary-eyed, unshaven, unwashed, and excited they watched 12 straight hours of something.
You just watch a 12-hour movie, basically.
And now on the flip side of this, we have a show where you got drug out and tortured for a decade.
Right.
With kid actors.
Big question mark in the middle of this.
Okay.
Which was better? Which was worse?
All right.
What happened?
If you had managed to, if we had, in the timeline where we didn't have COVID and we didn't have writer's strikes and actors' strikes,
right,
and things went on through, Stranger Things would have probably still taken 7 years to tell 5 years worth of story.
Which isn't terrible.
That's reasonable.
That's reasonable.
Yeah.
That's reasonable.
Now, what if it was like Star Trek, where it's like the part of the charm of Star Trek was it was more episodic and consistent in time, and some of the episodes were kind of duds, but that there's a sort of charm behind them.
Yeah. Well, then I guess the question would be for me is why would you need 5 years?
So here,
this sounds like a different.
So
type
all right, so here's what you've got.
Yeah.
Stranger Things is not a television show.
Right.
Stranger Things is 5 separate chapters in a campaign.
Correct. It is a D&D.
D&D
show.
From jump until the closing credits. In fact, the closing credits, which Stranger Things never really had a production in their closing credits before, this season their closing credits was literally going through an RPG player's manual that had like sketches from the show and everything else, giving you all the credits. You see the hit point stuff, how much it would take to kill a Demodog, everything in there. This was a campaign. And if you've ever been, like I said before, it's obvious that a lot of people who watch this have never been in a successful multi-year D&D campaign or any kind of RPG where you keep coming back to those characters you played before and you go on a new adventure. That's what this was. And I think that disconnect with a lot, it's that disconnect that a lot of people are going, well, this doesn't make sense. And it never had to make sense. There is an idiom right there that your DM is God. They create the world. They
Dungeon
create the story.
master.
Right.
Yeah.
And you play their story. Now, you may hate their story half the time. You may want to throttle the DM on a regular basis. We have seen...
That'd be fair. Yeah.
But when it's all said and done, the Duffers wrote a D&D campaign that took place multidimensionally, and that's not just, that's not a joke. That is genuinely what they wrote. They turned, and it's... You've got... It's the reason why you don't have... It's not referred to as Stranger Things Season 5. It is Stranger Things 5.
I got a question about... Go ahead.
I actually have a funny question then, Brandon.
Okay.
Would you say that Stranger Things was more faithful to the energy of an actual D&D campaign than the movie Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves?
I will say that Honor Among Thieves is probably closer in the various things they come across. But yes, Stranger Things follows the playing campaign much closer.
It has more of the heart of it as opposed to the encounters.
Right. And it's like there's a big final quote unquote final battle with the Mind Flayer in this season, and you're like, all right, there are people asking questions like, how did they get on top of those mountains? How did they get out from underneath us? It's because that's what you roll.
Well, that was my question.
And there are times when these characters, they roll a nat 20, and there are times when they roll a critical fail.
Is this, you're saying it's written like a D&D campaign. Is this sort of something explicit that the viewer's going to know this now at the end of the season? Or you're just saying that was their approach?
No. You learn it at the end because the final scenes and then the closing credits, because the final scenes... If you are worried about spoilers, click over to one of our sister stations right now.
Yeah.
But if you watch them at the very end, they get up and they take their character notebooks, they put them on a shelf, and they go upstairs out of the basement, and that's the final scene.
Okay.
It's like Mike finishes off all their stories. You get a little bit of a glimpse into what the future holds for the characters that we've been following, from Dustin and Will and Lucas and Max. And then, he gives you Eleven's epilogue, and then he goes upstairs because mom called because the lasagna's ready. You watch each one of them put their books up on the shelf, ending the campaign, and as they're going down, his sister and her friends are running down because they're finally old enough to get to play on their own.
Okay, I could get behind that.
Which we get to see those kids in this season a lot because they are quintessential to
the future.
They're quintessential to Vecna's plan, his overall plan. He needs 12 kids. And there's 5 of them that come out of this group that are like, solid friends.
That would help explain why each season has a different texture to it. I guess, depending on so whoever the goofy storyteller was, it was probably that kid with the hat that did the third season.
If you notice, Will the Wise is the one who's trying to run the D&D campaign in season 3.
Oh,
and that the Starcourt scenario definitely fits into his arc.
Okay. I don't know. You're winning me back, Brandon. I hope this isn't like Terminator Genesis.
No, Terminator Genesis. I did that to you because I felt that I had to make you and Laura suffer.
Okay, but really, this sounds like something it's worth following up.
Okay,
maybe I'll dive back.
I had a lot of fun, and it's not going to be for everybody. It is for that weirdo kid who didn't really have a place, so he read or he played D&D. I mean,
Yeah, but you say that, but
the-
it's like one of the biggest shows on TV.
Right.
Right
The
now,
mainstream
so, I mean,
audience got onto it. It is the basic metaphor for what's happened with geek culture in the past 15 years.
All right. Well, we're going to leave it there, you guys. We're going to end the campaign there. So until next week, we are the Geek Patrol, and I am Joe Thorderson.
And I'm Alan Gilbreth.
I'm Maximilian.
And I'm Brandon Olmsted, reminding you to check in with us next weekend at ShadowCon at Whispering Woods.